Twitter is a very popular social network. It's really come to the forefront of people's attention in the last few months. It's been around for a while, but over the last sort of 6 to 9 months, it's become more and more popular, and it's now got millions and millions of users, and is receiving an awful lot of media coverage. And of course, internet marketers have seen an opportunity. There are many companies and celebrities also using it. It's not unknown for chief executives to tweet, or PR departments to tweet, or even respected companies like the BBC. There's a lot of celebrities on Twitter as well. They post information for their fans. It's an easy way for them to keep in contact. The reason celebrities prefer perhaps Twitter to Facebook is Twitter is more a broadcast medium. Facebook and other social networks are much more intimate, much more about interaction. Twitter isn't so much about that interaction. It's about you post something, your followers read it. So for companies and celebrities, it's actually ideal because you can broadcast a message out to lots and lots of people without having to try and interact and deal with a flood of messages coming back. Now, there's one celebrity in America who has over 2 million followers. There's a lot of other celebrities. Jonathan Ross, a UK chat show host and radio DJ, recently gave away on Twitter a trip for 2 people to go to Texas or somewhere, I think it was, to meet up with the rapper Eminem. Now, he had been given this as a free junket by one of the PR companies. Was going over to interview him, but because of his arrangements, he couldn't make it. So what he decided to do was to run a quick 1 hour competition on Twitter. Somebody said the right answer. That guy got to go over, all expenses paid, and went to interview Eminem for the day. I mean, how fantastic is that? There's more and more use like this of Twitter. It's becoming massively popular. The aim of the game with Twitter is you build up followers. You follow people who you are interested in knowing more about. People who want to know more about you and what you're doing follow you. You have 140 characters and 140 characters only to communicate with them. What you do is you type in a tweet, which is a message of up to 140 characters, and people will read it and respond in some way. It can be a bit of a challenge fitting something into 140 characters. So a post is called a tweet. So when you hear people talking about their tweeting, that means they're posting to Twitter. It doesn't mean they're sitting in a tree chirping. They're posting to Twitter. Now, you follow people who you are interested in, and people will also follow you. Quite often what happens is if you follow someone, they will then follow you back so that they can see what you are up to. So usually it's very mutual in that way. Your tweets are how you communicate with your followers. You use them to establish yourself as an expert, to tell them what's going on, to tell them about new product launches, and so on. Now, the good thing about tweets is they're also picked up by the search engines. Twitter is, like any other website, indexed by the search engines. So search engines will come along, they'll go through your tweets, and they'll pick up all the web links and go off and look at what's on the other end. It's a good way of giving your websites a bit of a leg up the search engines. It's a good way of getting them indexed fairly quickly as well. So that's just additional benefits, let alone people seeing your website links there. So it's great for getting the site indexed. One word of advice before you set yourself up on Twitter and get too excited. Separate out your business and your personal accounts. It's absolutely important with any social network you do this. If you're trying to be professional, then some of the things you may want to post to your personal account you can't post, because if a joint venture venture partner comes along and sees some of the things you may well have posted to your personal account, they'll be horrified. I know I've seen on Facebook one of my friends, and I use that in inverted quotes, one of the people that's added to my business Facebook account, an internet marketer, put some, shall we say, very explicit and very peculiar posts on her status. And not being funny, I'm there to do business, and seeing that, it makes you think, well, hang on, I don't want to do business with you. So, if that person then approached me and said, hey, look, I've got a great joint venture proposal to you, I'd back away slowly. So if you separate them out, then that means you can post whatever you want in your personal account without worrying about it impacting your business. So you've got to do that. And secondly, for example, on my Twitter and Facebook accounts, I've got thousands of friends, thousands of followers. And do you know what? They generate so much noise that you can't see what's happening in your personal life. Your actual real friends disappear into obscurity because there's so many other posts coming through. So you separate them out, you can keep in contact with your friends very easily. You can keep in contact with your business contacts very easily. And you can also develop the business persona that you want without your friends sitting there going, who's he trying to pretend he's been? And posting things that perhaps would put off potential business partners. The aim of the game, like any social network, is to build up lots and lots of followers. You want lots of people that are following you, interested in whatever you're tweeting. Let's talk a little about what's in the course before we go any further. Well, I'm going to talk to you about how do you use Twitter. What is it? How does it work? And so on and so forth. I want you to understand exactly how to use it. I want to show you how to find followers. That's very important. A lot of people will go on and they'll mess around and they'll get a couple of followers and give up. Using the right techniques, you can get quite a lot of followers, but there are certain guidelines as to how many followers to add. There are tools you can use to make it easier. Some are within the terms of service, some aren't. Step outside the terms of service, you're running the risk of losing your account. WordPress is a massively popular piece of software, as I'm sure you are aware. More and more marketers are now moving towards WordPress. People want to understand WordPress. It's a complex piece of software in many respects, though simple in others. People want to be able to integrate the two, reduce the amount of work that they have to do. I'm also going to tell you a bit about how to customize your Twitter account. Pimp it out if you like. It's very, very easy to do. And there's a lot of options, lots of things that you can do. So what I want to show you some ways you can do that. And the reason you want to customize it is to make you stand out from the crowd. Now, obviously, you don't want to go too far over the top with pimping it out, because if you do that, it's not going to look professional. But if you go a certain distance with it, it's going to look good, it's going to stand out, and people are going to want to know more. Social networking outside of Twitter is very important. It's big business, lots and lots of opportunities to network, get traffic, and get noticed. So we're going to talk about Twitter and other social networks, how they interact. We're going to talk about how you can also tweet on autopilot. Let's face it, you're probably busy. You've got lots to do, maybe a family, hobbies, a job, and obviously an internet marketing business. You want to automate as much as you can. The more you can automate things, the better it is for you. So I'm going to show you how you can pretty much tweet on autopilot. Very, very neat. And finally, I want to show you a bit about some of the applications that are out there for use with Twitter. There's some really, really great tools. I'd like to introduce you to a few. So that's what's in the course. So what I would like you to do is go to your browser, go to twitter.com. We're going to go on the next one. We're going to go a bit through how to use Twitter. If you've already got an account, sign in. If you haven't, sign up. Very easy to do. And let's get on. Let's show you how to use Twitter.